I do not want to do this shit right now.
Boys, it has taken me nearly a decade to figure out how to go from skinny fat to shredded. But not only that, more importantly, once I got to become shredded, staying that lean while still packing on the muscle. And that is exactly what I have been able to do over the course of the last 365 days. And let me tell you something, this is not for the faint of heart. This is not for all you excuses makers out there, because it is 12:35 right now and I haven't eaten since 6 o'clock last night, and I would want nothing more than to eat right now. But I know for a fact that I am not going to eat again until 6:30 or 7 o'clock tonight. And I'm not saying that that is the only way to do it. There are plenty of different ways to do it. But with that being said, this shit sucks. Like, I personally train 3 times a day, 1 cardio session and 2 lifting sessions. And I feel like shit. I don't want to talk to anyone, which the fact that I'm even recording a video right now shows you how much I fucking care. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to show any emotion. Like, I know that sounds weird, but I don't want to do anything. I literally just want to eat and sleep right now. But I still wake up at 4:30 every single morning. I still train 3 times a day, like I said before. I still only eat 1 meal a day, and I still have a shit ton of work to do for scaling my online coaching business, as well as I work a full-time job as a sales rep at a supplement company. With that being said, in this video, I want to explain to you the reality of 1, becoming this lean, and 2, like I said before, staying that lean as you continue to put on more and more muscle. Because it's easy to get down to that lean, in my opinion, because I've done it countless times before. But the hard thing is to continue putting on muscle once you get to that anywhere between 8 to probably 11 or 12% body fat, because that's what I consider lean. To some people, it might be like, oh, 15% is lean. 15% is not lean. You can barely see your abs unless you flex as hard as you possibly can with a pump. So I hope that pissed a lot of people off, by the way. All of these points, by the way, are going to be based off personal experience. This isn't any like, oh, this study said this. No, I don't go off of any of that shit. I go off of real life experiences that I have personally experienced myself, or someone that I have directly spoken to or directly helped has also experienced. So just to get that out of the way first. But the first thing is the fact that, like, I don't want to fucking talk to anybody. Like, when I don't eat, it puts me into like this laser focused mode, because your brain is directly connected to your gut. And if your gut is constantly working to digest food that you're eating, if you're eating every couple hours, then your brain is going to be using some of that capacity that it could be using to focus on other tasks on digesting the food. So when I don't eat for extended periods of time, like for example, like I told you guys earlier, I eat 1 meal a day, which means I have 24 hours in between meals. So let's say on average it takes anywhere between 3 to 4 hours to fully digest a meal. Because the meals that I eat, if you guys follow my Instagram, you guys see some of the feasts that I have at night. And some people ask me, they're like, how the fuck do you do that? But that's a point that I'll get into later. Let's say it takes 3 to 4 hours to digest a full meal. That leaves me over 20 other hours that my brain is going to be completely empty of food, and it is going to be able to fully just lock in on whatever task I'm doing, whether it's working on my coaching dashboard that I give to every single one of my clients, whether it's working my sales job and I have to be extremely focused so I can say the right things with the right tonality at the right time in order to sell the clients on the supplements that I'm giving them. My brain has to be completely switched on and laser focused every single hour that I'm awake. So that is one of the benefits of doing it. But on the other side, when you're laser focused in like that, it's like everything else around you kind of like disappears. You just become so tunnel vision to the point where it's like you have a very hard time expressing your emotions, if that makes sense. I don't know like if any of you can relate to that, but like at least for me personally, when I'm fully focused, I don't like to feel emotion, show emotion, like express any emotion. Like when I'm focused, I am focused. That is the only thing that matters to me, whatever I'm doing at that time. And in order to get lean, in order to get the body that you want, requires you not eating for extended periods of time, unless you just have like little baby like 300 to 500 calorie meals over the course of the day, which in my personal opinion, in my personal experience, that has never worked for me. Because when I eat, I'm a fat kid at heart. When I eat, I like to eat, and and I'll eat some massive meals, which is why I like this style of eating that I've incorporated so much, is because yeah, I suffer for 20 plus hours not getting to eat any food, but when I actually do get to eat, I get to feast like how I used to when I was a fat kid. And I absolutely love it. Now, I'm not saying that I eat junk food, which is the reason that I was fat back then. Like, I eat, I would say, extremely clean to my standard. But that's the thing. I get to relive some of those childhood experiences when I was fat now, and they're still conducive to my goals, which is one of the reasons why I love it so much. The thing about that, though, that comes with that, there's a caveat that comes with that, which is the next point that I'm leading into, which is that there's a certain social aspect to this that not a lot of people are going to understand you, especially when it comes to social environments. Like, for example, you go to a family event where there's a big dinner, or you go out drinking with your friends on the weekends or something like that, and you're the only one not drinking, or you go to a family event and grandma always makes the cookies and she's like, oh, just have one cookie's not gonna hurt. And like, yeah, one cookie to me wouldn't hurt me, but it's the standard that I have to myself to be as perfect as possible. And I know that sounds crazy, but the way that I see things when it comes to my personal development, in my fitness, in my mindset, in my business, just in every single aspect of my life, the way I treat things is to aim for perfection, knowing that I will never obtain perfection, because the only thing in this life that is perfect is God. Knowing that I will never reach perfection, but in the pursuit of perfection, knowing that I will achieve greatness, that is what I'm going for. And I think that's a really important thing, because not a lot of people are willing to chase something that has no guarantees attached to it. And that's where a lot of people fail to understand the way that I live my life. And if you decide to go down a similar path, this is going to be something that you're going to experience as well with your family members, with people in your immediate circle. They're not going to understand you. I apologize for keep fixing this camera. I'm driving right now and it keeps moving. But that's the thing. People are not going to understand how you live your life when you go down a different path than the 99% of people. And when I tell my parents, because I currently live with my parents, when I tell them that I only eat one meal a day, that is like absolutely fucking mind-blowing to them, and it's bonkers. My entire childhood, I was brought up thinking that everything is okay in moderation. You need to take breaks because or else you're gonna burn out. 8 hours of sleep. You have to get 8 hours of sleep. I haven't slept 8 hours a night in one night in like almost coming up on a year. And I'm not saying that you should do that. I'm saying that for most people, you should be optimizing for 8 hours of sleep. But my opinion when it comes to sleep, I know I'm getting off on a bit of a side tangent, but I'm gonna bring it back. You have to earn your sleep. If I have not completed what I told myself the night before that I was going to complete that day, I don't get to go to sleep. Those are two of my non-negotiables and two of the pillars that I live my life by, is to earn your sleep and to earn your meals. And what I mean by earn your sleep and earn your meals is that you do not go to bed until the work is done. Now, obviously, when it comes to creative endeavors and entrepreneurial endeavors, the work is truly never finished. But when you set tasks that you must accomplish that night before, when you plan tomorrow today, when you have a set of tasks that you need to complete, I physically would not be able to live with myself if I was to go to bed not having completed that task. Which is why I am willing to go to bed whenever the work is done for that day, and then still wake up at my non-negotiable wake-up time, which is 4:30 every single morning. Now, I don't want this to come off as like some hustle culture grind, like gym cell bullshit, because I've been called all of those things before. That's not the message behind this. I'm not saying that you have to sleep 2 hours a night in order to be successful and achieve your dream physique and whatever. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you have to earn your sleep. If you didn't do shit and you weren't as effective and efficient as you could be with your time, when bedtime, quote unquote, rolls around, you don't get to go to sleep if the work is not done. And it's the same thing with the meals. I earn every single one of the meals that I eat. I do not allow myself to eat unless I have either 1, done a training session, or 2, I have done a work task that I just do not want to do. Like, it is one of those work tasks that is like the last thing that I want to do. An example of that is like editing videos. Unless it's that or completing a training session, I'm not allowed to eat. And when I tell some people this, going back to the original point, like I said, a lot of people are not going to understand that. A lot of people are going to judge you for it, of how you live, of how you train, of how you eat. People are they're going to judge you, and you're going to have to be able to deal with that. But the way that I've been able to combat some of this judgment, especially because I document a lot of my life on social media, the way I've been able to combat some of that judgment is knowing that I am able to go to sleep at night knowing that I look better than them and I feel better than them, internally and externally. And that's probably not the greatest way to go about it, honestly. It sounds kind of shallow and maybe a little sociopathic, but that's what's worked for me. Like I said before, all of this stuff is just coming from what's worked for me personally, and the people that I've directly worked with, what's worked for them as well. Which kind of leads me into the next point that I want to get into, which is that there are sacrifices that you're going to have to make, obviously. Like, if it were easy, everyone would be in shape and everyone would have a body they were proud of, right? So there's going to be certain lifestyle choices and sacrifices that you're going to have to make in order to get the physique that you want. Now, I understand that not everyone is going to have as ambitious goals as certain people, but I'm not speaking to the majority of the population. I am speaking to you. I am speaking to somebody who is as ambitious as I am, who has high, lofty goals that doesn't fit in with modern society and wants to make something of themselves. They want to build an unbreakable mindset, an elite physique, and have the financial capability that allows them to have the time freedom and the location freedom to do whatever they want, go wherever they want, and have work that is genuinely fulfilling to them. That is who I'm speaking to. I'm not speaking to the majority of the people. If I was, I would be making Mr. Beast content. But going back to the lifestyle choices and the sacrifices that you have to make, it's not just about what you train and how you train and what and how you eat. I know a lot of people think that it's just calories in, calories out, bro, and all you have to do is just train a certain way. Yes, but it goes farther beyond that. If you want to get to a certain level physically and mentally, it's far more than just training and diet. It honestly, to a certain degree and at a certain level, it becomes this all-encompassing thing. Because if we go back to the social aspect of things, every single time that you go outside of your routine, and maybe you go out with your friends or you go out on a date with your girl, whatever it might be, the first thoughts that are immediately going to come into your mind are, what kind of activity level is this going to be? What is this going to require? Am I going to miss out on one of my meals? Am I going to be able to eat the proper foods when we go out to this restaurant? Like, all of these different thoughts are going to be popping into your mind. And if they don't align with your goals physically and mentally and every other aspect of your life, you literally, like, it is the last thing that you want to do. And that's why so many people, even some of my friends, they call me like a hermit, basically, because they say I never leave like the confines of my routine and like the confines of not what's comfortable for me, but like what is conducive to my goals. That is the best way to put it. Like, I very, very rarely leave an environment that is not conducive to my goals. And I think there's something to that, you know, because it becomes very hard to not become successful if everything that you do is aligned with your goals. I know that sounds blatantly simple, but it's honestly the truth. If everything you do over the course of the day aligns with the man that you want to become, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, every single aspect of your life, it's going to be very, very hard for you to fail if you stay consistent to that on a long enough time frame. So in saying that, there are lifestyle choices and sacrifices that you're going to have to make. And without going off on too much of a side tangent again, another thing that I want to mention is the fact that you don't have to go all in and quit your job immediately if you want to start making money online and generate income online. Because so many people, obviously, like, you hear the standard saying 10K a month online, like all the E-Man Gadsby videos and Andrew Tate hustle porn things. Like, everyone thinks that you have to just go all in and quit your job immediately. But what they don't tell you, because I have gone all in. I've quit my job before where I was making $5,000 to $6,000 a month. I've quit my job and went all in on becoming a content creator before I even knew that I wanted to be a fitness and a mindset coach. That was before that even was a thought in my brain. It kind of was in the back of my mind, but I didn't feel like I was qualified enough. And then I realized that there's people out here that are far less qualified than me, that are making a fuck ton more money than me. And I was like, okay, it's time. But that's besides the point. I've gone all in, and I realize now that when you start off in an entrepreneurial venture, unless you already have a fuck ton of money and a fuck ton of capital and a fuck ton of leverage already at your disposal, ready to be used, then it is not going to be beneficial to you to just immediately quit your job, drop everything, and go all in on it. Because when it comes to these solopreneur ventures, there is going to be a long period of time, months, even years, before you see any type of quantifiable results in terms of tangible money results. So my recommendation for you, coming from someone who has gone all in and saved up a bunch of money to the point where I didn't have to work for over a year so I could go all in, that's who this is coming from. Work a job that is a different type of job. What I mean by that is I've kind of coined this term to be known as a free job. And what a free job is that you can still be on the clock and you can work on your side hustle or your business or whatever it might be while you're still getting paid for the other thing, because that job doesn't require your full time, attention, and effort while you're on the clock getting paid. So for example, for me with my sales job, when I'm in the supplement store and I've already front faced the whole store and I've already done shipment for the week and the store already looks nice because I'm the only one that works in the store when I'm working. And when there's no customers in there and I don't have anything to do, I just pull out my computer that I have in my book bag and I just work until a customer comes in, and then obviously like I give them my full time and attention. But find a job like that. And at least for me, where I'm from Ohio, those type of jobs are very hard to come by, and it's taken me years in order to figure that out and find a job like this now that I actually enjoy. Like, I'm surrounded by supplements, which are things that I'm extremely knowledgeable about. It's a sales job, which means it's based off performance, which I absolutely love. I fucking hated every job I've had because I just show up at X time, leave at X time, and get paid X amount. And no matter how well I perform, I still get paid the same as the lazy motherfucking coworker I have who doesn't do shit. Like, that to me infuriated me. So I've always looked for a performance-based job. And I think a server or a sales job is the two best ways to go about this in terms of free jobs, essentially, is what I like to call it. And the only time that you should quit your job, there's kids selling lemonade, there's a bunch of garage sales going on. The only time that you should quit your job and switch to that being your business, being your full-time thing, is when that exceeds your income that you had at your job that you are gonna quit. And that, in my opinion, is the best way to go about it. And that is what I'm currently embarking on now. And that's the purpose of this channel, is to document you guys, showing in real time everything that I'm doing in order to build an unbreakable mindset, get into the best shape of my life, build just an insane elite level physique, and become financially free in a way that allows me to have time freedom and location freedom. Those are the 3 core pillars of what I'm currently pursuing, and is the message that I'm documenting to you in the hopes that I can help you do the same through the lessons that I teach and the things that I learn and the things that I expel to you. Now, I'm going to say a disclaimer. To some people, money and physique, though, just going after those 2 things, that's going to be shallow to most people. But in my opinion, that is the last missing pieces of the puzzle for me. Like, I have an amazing relationship with a woman that I've been with for over 6 years. So the relationship aspect is ticked off. I'm going to marry that woman. I have an extremely strong mindset. I've been able to break drug addictions, drinking addictions, vaping addictions, food addictions, porn addictions, lust addictions, masturbation, like literally name a common addiction that most people have. I've had it and I've broken it. So I would say that I have a pretty strong mindset. Sorry, I had to cut it. My phone overheated because I'm in the car and it's hot as hell out today. But there's something to be said there about someone who's willing to break the social norms of modern society and really push the limits of what's possible for each and every single one of us. Because I truly believe that every single one of us is capable of achieving the highest of highs. But you have to, 1, be willing to do it and have that level of ambition deep inside of you that you genuinely want to pursue that. Because if you don't, you're never going to be able to force yourself to do the work that you need to do in order to get to that level. But 2, just have the willingness to give a piece of yourself to something for the greater good. That's what I'm doing here. I am trying to build a community of absolute killers, assassins, with unbreakable mindsets. Like I said before, the 3 pillars: unbreakable mindset, elite level physique, and the financial capability that has time freedom and location freedom to go wherever they want, whenever they want, and have work that is truly fulfilling to them and a mission that is genuinely positively impacting the world. So whatever your goals are, understand that there's going to be a lot of people in your immediate circle that are just not going to understand you and quite honestly judge you for how you live your life, which is the beauty of social media. That's the reason that I created this channel, is to build a community of like-minded people who are going after a similar goal, so that we can all put our brains together in order to achieve it faster than we ever could on our own. That is the purpose behind this. So if that sounds like you, join this community, join this brotherhood, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Instagram. I post a lot more frequently on there. I post over 10 stories a day, so follow me on there. But thank you for watching. I hope this was well worth your time, and I will see you in the next one.